It's a Tuesday night in Leeds. All three law students are watching a news report. A DDC special on genital cutting.
Today we are discussing practices of genital cutting with regards to the liberal legal subject. Activists and scholars claim that male circumcision should have the same legal implications as female circumcision.
What is the liberal legal subject? I don't remember doing that in seminars.
Did you even attend the lectures?
It's the liberal, self-sufficient, rational man.
The reasonable man. Yeah, we're pals.
In the UK, female genital mutilation is banned. The academic Sally Sheldon argues that this is because no woman can validly consent and it is oppressive and sexist. In addition, she claims it inflicts injury and causes great offence to society.
If that's true and you think about culture, then surely due to the pressures in society, it's clear that no one can consent to a boob job. People only do that because they want to be more attractive to men, just like African women agree to genital cutting.
No, that's not true. If I were to have a boob job, it would be a personal decision, not necessarily due to societal pressure.
Yeah, but that's different, isn't it? Genital cutting's oppressive. It's about men trying to control women's sexuality and preserve their virginity.
Well, no, because to Senegalese women, genital cutting is a necessary procedure to gain membership into the community. To them, a boob job is just as shocking as female circumcision is to us. This shows how it's completely dependent upon what the norm is in your society.
Yeah, I understand that, and cultural factors will play a major influence in our perceptions of controversial issues. Really, I think it's all about the choice of the woman. They have the autonomy because they have the freedom and capacity to make that choice.
They might claim they have autonomy, but it's basically false consciousness. They're only doing it under the guise of consent because they're compelled to fit into society and be part of their cultural norm.
No, I don't think that's very fair. If we ignore women's personal desire to be circumcised, aren't we just silencing and marginalising them and their experience? Why can't circumcision be thought of as an individual right and therefore an expression of autonomy?
If you can consent to a boob job, then why can't you consent to circumcision?
Well, plastic surgery is regulated and controlled and there's consent. You cannot really compare a boob job to a female circumcision because a boob job's in sterile conditions and it's safe.
So are you saying then that if female circumcision was in sterile conditions, you'd think it's okay?
Oh, well, no, it's not cool. It's not in our culture, it's not normal. In fact, it's barbaric.
That's a bit offensive. It's their culture. They may be subject to great social pressure, but that doesn't mean our cultural values are any more important than theirs. It just shows how the law favours our values. It's all very white, middle-class, male ideals. Doesn't Bibbing say cultural relativism says that all cultural practices are equally valid? Any attempt to create a cross-culture stamp would inherently be biased towards one culture. There's no norms and it's subjective and completely dependent on your culture.
If what Sally Sheldon claims to be true, why are we not so outraged by Kim Kardashian's alleged design of vagina?
So, we are asking, how is it different to female genital mutilation?
Well, according to the NHS, a labiaplasty is offered as cosmetic surgery or a treatment for a medical problem with the full consent of the patient. Female circumcision refers to a procedure which intentionally alters or injures female genital organs for non-medical reasons. Generally, female circumcision is carried out on non-consenting children, yet designer vaginas are available to consenting adults.
The main issues for debate are the age of consent, sterile conditions and cultural normativities. In Africa alone, according to the UN report, it is practiced in at least 25 countries.
Now we'll discuss male circumcision.
Male circumcision is generally seen as more socially acceptable, and Western cultures are more familiar with the practice. The law is accepting of male circumcision.
Traditionally, male circumcision was associated with pain and therefore dominance, suggesting that males were tougher. There are some controversial benefits to male circumcision. One is that it reduces the risk of a UTI. But because only 1% of boys contract a UTI, 111 boys need to be circumcised to prevent one UTI.
This is a dubious medical benefit and has been followed for 7 decades. It is only since the 1950s that the public have questioned the risks in balance to these debatable benefits.
In my seminar the other day, we were discussing Fox's research into male circumcision, and allegedly circumcision provides an alternative to the HIV vaccine now.
But doesn't this increase the risk of transmission as women make up 60% of the population with the virus?
Well, yeah, surely a pro-circumcision policy harms women and oppresses them more because it takes matters out of their hands.
Yeah.
Wait, don't tell me you actually believe this. Did you know they didn't even monitor condom use during the study? This is clearly not a medical benefit, no way. Even the American Pediatric Association decided that circumcision is no longer medically essential for health and hygiene.
So why would anybody want to be circumcised then?
The main reason for male circumcision is that it's a renowned religious practice in Judaism and Islam. It's seen as a cultural norm and acceptable in their society.
It does seem contradictory when you look at the Judaist laws that Jewish people are not allowed to harm their bodies, yet they promote circumcision.
Western cultures have medicalised male circumcision, and despite circumcision becoming less popular in the West, and it's now promoted more medically to third world countries, boys who are less educated are more vulnerable.
Hang on. So basically, just because it's a norm in their culture, their autonomy is allowed to be infringed. Their religion is basically imposing their values on newborns who aren't even free to consent. The main issue here is clearly consent. The liberal legal subject has the fundamental assumption that everybody has the right to make autonomous decisions. Clearly, these religious practices are undermining that and challenging it completely. The law is supposed to protect people and be neutral, yet it's allowing newborns to have their bodily integrity sacrificed.
Sarah's boyfriend is from Kenya.
Well, did you know in Kenyan societies, circumcision is actually seen as a step into manhood? It's clearly all relative.
It seems strange that Islam is opposed to female circumcision, yet encourages male circumcision. Does this not purport gender inequality?
We need to compare them on a level playing field to truly understand if this gender inequality is justified.
The Law Commission states it's generally accepted that male circumcision has little, if any, effect on a man's ability to enjoy sexual intercourse, and therefore is not considered to be mutilation. With regards to female circumcision, often women contract infections, and they do often find that they're later incontinent and struggle to have intercourse due to extreme pain. The consequences of female circumcision depend upon the skill of the operator and the hygiene levels to which the operation is conducted in.
If female circumcision was legalised, it would be in sterile conditions, conducted by a medical professional. The medical implications would be dramatically reduced because they would be put on a level playing field with male circumcision. Medicine is always progressing. The procedure would evolve, and it's a possibility that it would be a safer practice. It would mean that women who opted for this surgery would be able to have this done with minimal risk.
So surely by leaving it illegal, it puts the safety of women who want this surgery at risk? The law is clearly biased by doing this and oppressing minority groups. It's taking the view of the white middle-class male and imposing their views on society.
It seems unfair not to allow the women to have this option when it can be done in sterile conditions. The law claims that it promotes freedom and equality, yet actually it's removing their autonomy. It completely undermines liberal legal thought.
Yeah.
So, should male circumcision have the same legal implications as female circumcision?
And that's for you to decide.
If female circumcision was legalised, it would gradually become the norm and accepted in society. As it currently stands, it causes outrage and it purports gender inequality. The only reason for this outrage is because of how it's viewed in society. Legalising it would change this. Norms are just social constructs, and the law has the ability to change that completely.
The only reason male circumcision is allowed is because it's a recognised norm in our society. If female circumcision was legalised and became incorporated into our culture the way male circumcision has, we wouldn't be questioning whether it's unethical.
Thank you for tuning in today. Unfortunately, time's up.
However, join us next week for our discussion on intersex surgery. Bye!
Sarah is eating a pizza.